Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into something that, well, it affects every single one of us every single day.
That's so true. We're talking about that world inside your head. You know, that constant, invisible landscape of thoughts and emotions that really, truly shapes our entire lives.
So, let's just start with this question. Just think about it for a second. All the stress we feel, all the conflict, the challenges we face, what if the real battle, the one that truly matters, isn't happening out in the world, but right inside our own minds?
Exactly. And this isn't some new idea. It's a timeless one. It's this deep understanding that our inner peace, our happiness, it's all shaped by this constant tug of war between these really powerful opposing forces. It's just part of the human experience.
Okay, so let's get to know one side of that conflict a little better. We're going to call them our inner enemies. But here's the thing. These aren't villains we need to slay. They're actually just really relatable, very human tendencies that, if we let them run wild, can seriously mess with our peace of mind. First on the list is passion. And we're not talking about healthy passion here. This is more like that uncontrolled, restless craving for the next thing. The next purchase, the next like on your post, that next fleeting high. It's this energy that always promises happiness, but usually just leaves us feeling kind of empty and off balance.
Next up, we've got anger. Oh boy, we've all felt it, right? That flash of heat when someone cuts you off in traffic. But when we let it take the driver's seat, it becomes this explosive force that can cause some real damage to our relationships, our careers, and honestly, to ourselves.
Then there's greed. This is that little nagging voice inside that's always whispering, it's not enough. It's that insatiable hunger for more money, more status, more stuff. And the real trap here is that it totally blinds us to the contentment that's probably sitting right in front of us. Now this next one, delusion, is a bit more subtle. It's not about seeing things that aren't there. It's about how we cling to things that are temporary, like a job title or a certain lifestyle, as if they're permanent and define who we are. And that confusion, that misperception, is what leads to so much suffering when things, inevitably change.
And then, of course, we have pride. Now, this is totally different from healthy self-confidence. This is that inflated ego that whispers, I'm better than them, or I already know all this. What's so crucial to see is that it doesn't lift you up. It actually just isolates you in a little bubble and completely blocks you from learning and connecting with people. Jealousy. This one is so powerful today. It's that corrosive, sinking feeling you get when you're scrolling through someone's perfect highlight reel online. It just whispers comparisons in your ear, breeds resentment, and absolutely destroys any chance you have at inner peace.
And to round out the list, we have fear. For a lot of us, this is the big one. That deep-seated anxiety about the future, about failing, about what other people might think. When we let fear take the wheel, it becomes paralyzing. It shrinks our world and stops us from taking the very actions that would help us grow. Okay, so I know that sounds like a really tough crowd to deal with, but here's the really good news. For every single one of those enemies, there's a corresponding friend. And these aren't qualities you have to invent out of thin air. They are already inside you. They're our allies, and they're the direct path back to harmony.
So our first friend is self-control. Think of this as your anchor in an emotional storm. It's that simple, but incredibly powerful ability to just pause before you react. That little pause, it's everything. It's the space where we can cool down that fiery passion or explosive anger and choose a much better response. And to counter greed, we cultivate generosity. And this is so much more than just giving away money. It's about being generous with your time, your attention, your kindness. This kind of open-hearted giving is the perfect antidote to that feeling of lack that greed creates, and it builds these really powerful, genuine connections with people.
The perfect answer to pride is humility. There's this fantastic saying that goes, humility isn't thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. And that's it, right there. It's this grounded awareness that softens the ego, pops that isolating bubble, and opens the door for us to actually learn and grow.
Now, to cut through delusion, we can cultivate detachment. And I know, this concept is so widely misunderstood. It doesn't mean being cold or that you don't care. It just means seeing things clearly for what they are, without desperately clinging to them. This frees our mind from chasing illusions and lets us handle life's ups and downs with so much more peace.
And the direct antidote for the poison of jealousy, it's compassion. It's that warm, genuine wish for other people to be happy and to do well. Just think about it. When you can truly feel happy for someone else's good fortune, jealousy just has no air to breathe. It can't survive.
Next up is self-restraint. Now, this might sound, restrictive, but here's the beautiful paradox. It's actually the key to real freedom. When you have the discipline to govern your own impulses, you become the master of your actions, instead of just being a slave to every passing whim. Now, that is true inner freedom.
And finally, the friend that meets fear head-on is courage. And let's be clear, courage is not the absence of fear. I don't think anyone is truly fearless. Courage is the strength to act in spite of the fear. It's that resolve that lets us move through challenges and grow into the people we're meant to be.
So, here we are. We've got these two opposing teams, the 7 enemies and the 7 friends.
Right. But the goal here isn't to go to war and violently destroy the enemies. The real art is in transformation. It's about learning to take the raw energy of an enemy and, by consciously cultivating a friend, transform it into something positive.
Okay, let's make this super practical. Take pride. Its energy is all about separation, right? It isolates you, tells you already know everything, and it slams the door on any new growth.
And that's the perfect example of the solution. By consciously choosing to practice humility, you transform that isolating energy into connection. Suddenly, you're open to new ideas, you're learning from others, you're growing again.
Exactly. Or think about fear. Its energy is all about contracting, paralyzing you. It makes your world smaller and smaller.
But in that same moment, when you consciously choose courage, you take that exact same energy and you transform it. You move forward despite the fear. That's what empowers you. It turns what felt like a wall into a doorway for real growth. It's an active choice every time.
This all sounds great in theory, right? But the real question is, how do we actually do it? How do we turn this into a practical path we can walk every single day? So let's break down how we can take these ideas off the screen and put them to work in our actual lives.
Here are 4 really simple, actionable steps. First, self-awareness. That's it. Just start noticing when these enemies show up. See them without judging them. Second, mindful response. Remember that pause we talked about? Create that little gap between a feeling and your reaction. Third, daily cultivation. Don't wait for a huge crisis. Practice generosity by letting someone merge in traffic. Practice humility by just admitting you don't know something. These small, daily acts build incredible strength over time. And finally, seek clarity. Just gently question your assumptions. Ask yourself, is this fear really true? That one question can work wonders.
So, what this all boils down to is this. This isn't about following a rigid set of rules. It's really an invitation. It's an invitation to take an active role in shaping your own inner life. You are not a victim of your emotions. You can actually become the architect of your own well-being.
And that really brings us to our final thought for you today. This whole thing isn't about tackling all 7 enemies at once. That's overwhelming. It's about starting small, with just one conscious choice. So we'll leave you with this question. Looking at the day ahead of you, which one of these inner friends will you consciously choose to